to rob that kid of that moment,
Yeah.
I just think is just so unfair.
I met a gypsy.
Are we handing out some cards this week,
We're going to do it at Paula.
Paula?
Yes, because I figured everybody's going to be there.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
So
my
what's your
plan.
idea? All right, I want to
Okay.
hear from you.
So this is the idea. I want to get, and I'm not going to spoil it because I don't want to spoil too much, but my idea is just like you talked about, right? Talked about the rear tire thing. I want to get a set of particular questions, you know what I'm saying, that I write down on a card, like a ballot, right? And I maybe hand them to, a rider at whatever time. And we go, and just some of the things that I have an opinion on and I think that are looming. Possibly helmet comms, maybe be one of them, right? But I'm not going to expose what those questions are. And what I want to do
There's
is
going to be no names on the ballots.
no names. I don't want to know who wrote what. I don't want to know anything. I just want to get answers to these questions from the guys that are actually on the track, from top to bottom. And I want to take this ballot, we're going to put it in, and we're just going to tally them up and see what the actual riders think. And hopefully, not hopefully, I'm going to present it to some people and just say, hey, do what you want with it. This is what your guys on the track would like to see. Right?
I think it's a great idea.
What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. I'm all about it.
Why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, and two, that just goes to show you it's weird because obviously we talk about so much, right? We talk about all the stuff, Weege, Steve, Johnny, freaking everybody in the whole industry. We all talk about all the problems. We talk about what needs to change, yada, 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 right? But nobody really knows what the actual guys that are doing it want. And there's this, for me, is the absolute definite way to go, hey, these are the guys on the track. What do they want? This is it. There's no ands if, there's no black and white, gray, whatever. Bop, bop, bop. Do we want helmet comms? Do they not want helmet comms? Here's your answer. Vote was, I don't know who voted this way. I don't know who did it. 28 of the 40 guys said yes. This is your answer. I don't know if Eli Tomac said yes or no. I don't know if Cooper Webb did. I don't really care. This is what your top 40 said. Bop, bop, bop. Take it or leave it. And maybe, hopefully, that will help whoever needs to make a decision, make a decision. Right?
Yeah. No, I think it's an awesome idea. And yeah, I just think that what can be done about lappers? Like how many people should be making the night show or how many people should be allowed to
on the
sign
gate?
up?
How long should AMA have to take for a penalty?
Yeah.
Should it be 24 hours, 48 hours?
Dude, it should be. So one of my biggest disappointments this year. So the Deegan penalty when he crossed over, dude, he did it. It was on TV. So it's like, is it a shit penalty? Is it not? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you said, at riders meeting, that's what they said. He was obviously the best guy. He was obviously the fastest guy. He was going to win that race no matter what. Whatever it is, you go off track limits in F1, your lap gets deleted.
Bop, bop, bop.
It's just that simple.
Yep.
No matter what happens. So it's like, I'm not that mad at that. What I am completely and utterly livid by is the fact that Devin Simonson didn't get to stand on the podium. That, to me, is just the most fucked up thing one of the most fucked up things of this year. He probably will. But let's say he never gets on the podium again.
Yeah.
Bro, that photo, what would you give to have that moment?
Bro.
And to have that photo?
Your life. That's what he gave.
That's what he gave.
His life. Think about that. I'm sure you've seen it. But this shit opened my eyes. Some dude, and if you haven't seen it, answer the question, okay? If I gave you $10 million right now, would you take it?
Yeah.
If I gave you $10 million right now, but you couldn't wake up tomorrow, would you take it?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how much life is worth.
Yeah.
More than 10 million. I would say you would even take $1 billion and you wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
Devin Simonson dedicated something worth more than $1 billion fucking dollars to be on the fucking podium, and he didn't get up there.
Yeah. Over a black and white call. Like, to me, every call, like if you're making a call,
yeah,
if you're the guy that your job,
because that was the right call.
Yeah. And like, I'm cool with it. But it's like to rob that kid of that moment.
Yeah.
I just think is just so unfair. And to rob Club MX of everything that they work for, like I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
But you know what's weird? This is the weird situation, okay? And this is the shit that I don't really know, but I kind of know, right? This is the gray area. It's like they almost, and I could be wrong about this. I could be wrong. But it's almost like somebody's waiting for somebody to complain too. Like maybe that's why that penalty was put a little later. Because it was like kind of like, oh, he was a little squirrely. You know what I mean? Yeah. Are we going to give the penalty? And then this didn't happen. I'm not saying that because I don't know that. And then Club goes, bah, right after the race, they walk to AMA. They go, hey, what's going to happen here? And then the penalty is then formatted later.
Completely unacceptable.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is things that could have happened. Because there are certain situations even this year that I think certain people are saying certain things, and that's why you're seeing these penalties later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's not a real sport. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, at what point, in what football game do they overturn the winner of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but the thing is the
ruling on the field stands.
Yeah, but there's so much going on all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I just don't think that's acceptable. You know, like.
So what part, just to be clear, what part isn't acceptable?
The fact that you can have a completely black and white decision that takes, like, what lap was that in the race?
It was on TV, so.
So it's like, dude, bang, done. Easy. Yeah. This is the rules. This is the call. And then again, fucking radio comms.
Okay, let's think about this, though. So now I'm back in AMA standpoint. Do you think that Mike was watching TV at that time? Because who knows if he's seen that crash, right? Did he see that happen? Because Mike's in the booth, right? There's a booth where Mike is sitting up there ready to make calls, right? So essentially, he's not really watching TV. So he has to watch the whole race, make sure that's done, then analyze the situation.
Yeah, but so, okay, in NASCAR, in Formula One, in MotoGP, in every other sport, the penalties happen during the game.
Yes, instantaneously.
Yeah, but so if everybody else saw it, then how does the guy that is the rules guy?
Well, he did see it, but then he has to make an official ruling, but he also has to finish watching the race that it's continuing that can't stop.
But if it's because if it affects the outcome of the race and the podium and all, like, you've got to just make that call.
Yep.
You can't do the podium until you know who was on the fucking podium.
Agreed.
Like, am I crazy to say that?
Nope, you are not at all.
Because again, like, you've just got this kid that spent his entire life.
Literally his life.
Dude, I would fucking kill to have that moment if I was him. I would be so
Let's just all pray he gets another shot.
I know. And that's the thing. What if that's
because he's such a good dude.
He is actually a super nice dude.
Like,
hey? Yeah.
He's so cool.
I saw it.
Yeah, what if he doesn't get another shot?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the most criminal thing of all time, you know? And it's like, you just have to have, hey, Mike Pelletier has a shit job. That's a shitty job to be the guy that has to, Deegan, he was on a record-breaking streak of wins, and that is the call that, hey, fuck, that's the way the cookie crumbled, brother. That sucks.
Yeah.
I
think, you know what the big problem is? I think this is the big problem. This is, in my opinion, where it all went wrong was it Dallas or Houston? It was Dallas, right? That race that you pulled up.
Yeah.
That's where it all went wrong because there was a gray area. And that one gray area kind of rolled over into the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if we didn't have that single call. I feel like the rest of the year probably wouldn't have seemed as bad.
Yeah, but there's been so much shit where it's like Vince doesn't get penalized. Are we going to get into that? But Vince doesn't get penalized.
Are we going to get into that?
This happens. This doesn't, like, it. To me, it's just, and then Ezra Lusk quits. Why?
You know why. Come on. You know why.
I feel like I do know why. So
would you want to be an AMA guy?
Well, especially if you can't do anything. And if you're saying...
I don't even think it... I think it's partially, obviously he wasn't Mike Pelletier and he can't do anything. But it's also partially you're fucking hated. Not hated, but you are like not the guy anymore. You know what I mean? You're not Ezra Lusk anymore. You're the guy that's always going to be on the bad side of a situation.
Yeah, but
no matter what.
But I mean, I kind of agree, but disagree because, like, if you're making the right call in the moment, so if Mike Pelletier makes this call that Deegan gets docked, and the broadcasters know it, they tell us on the broadcast, like, oh, yep, we just got word from race control. That is because that's what happens in every other sport. He's got it too. That promotes Devin Simonson to the podium. Maybe the Deegans are pissed, but they're pissed because of their first person perspective of the situation.
I'm still pissed.
But you'd be pissed if they docked him in the middle of that race?
No. I'm still pissed about the whole situation.
But so that's what I'm saying is like one person's going to be pissed that's on the shit side of the call. But if you make the right call, then no one else can complain. The reason why those guys, people don't like them and why that's such a shitty position is because they're just not making the right calls and they're not making consistent calls. And it's so easy for guys like me to sit here, play the video of the exact same thing happening and go, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
But if I can't go, all I do is go, yeah, fair. It's the dynamic's completely different,
Okay, let's go through the situations though. Because again, this comes down to my point at the beginning of the show of communication. I think that they made the right calls. I think they've made the right calls on almost everything, right? So the Eli Tomac call, right? Let's just go back to that. If, like, say they go to KTM Red Bull takes AMA to the courts of, okay, he shouldn't be docked, right? Why shouldn't he be docked? Well, there's a rule in the rule book that this year, there's a rule in the rule book that there should be lead-in lights. So I'm saying Red Bull wins that. Technically, unfortunately, that's the right call because of the lead-in light, especially after what just happened a second before with Joe Shimoda. And then that's a lead-in light. So the rest of those guys don't get docked because it's a red light. They jumped. Well, that's a lead-in light that is in the rule books, right? Seth Hammaker, he gets docked 2 spots. The timely manner, unfortunate for Devin Simonson, really, really shitty. Right call, unfortunately. Hayden Deegan, right call. Shitty, should have been. My big thing is like, why are we just putting little fucking...
Yeah.
That seems so absurd to me. Our whole lives, we've been conditioned to know that is an outside track marker of an outdoor race, that I can tap that thing and kind of go around it as long as I'm close to the edge. And then that's what we're using to differentiate the lanes. I thought the differentiator to me was the berm. As soon as that berm was built up a foot, that to me says you can't cross as soon as the starting point of that. But instead, our whole lives, we've been conditioned to know that little track marker is kind of a gray area. We can go in and out and tag that thing. Right? So to me, not really super solid. But again, communication, all the riders didn't know. Still the right call, right? Was there a wrong call when you put it like that?
I mean, I guess the whole lead in, like, I mean, I still don't understand. And then for them to be like, oh yeah, I don't know. Like I just don't even think they understand their rules sometimes. You just finished watching a clip from the full 3-hour podcast. You're on our Clips channel. The full podcast live on the Gypsy Tales podcast channel. It's linked right here. Go over to that channel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and make sure you never miss a full episode of the Gypsy Tales podcast. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you want to watch it on the go, you can also head to our iTunes or Spotify to get the full 3-hour podcast in audio format.
I met a gypsy.